Okay boys, we got a game against Stinger. I played this person a few days before. He doesn't really try to predict, that's why I did lose a game. But when I got into a game with him again, I basically 6-0'd him because he didn't try to predict. So I wasn't predicting either. But this should be interesting. He does have a lot of damage on his team. So I'm gonna lead off with Thunderous. Can T-Wave a lot of members. As he leads off with Scissor, I'm just gonna T-Wave this as well. And yeah, last few games he didn't really try to predict, but the problem is he has a lot of damage on his team. So if I do make a wrong call, he can put in a lot of damage on me. Yeah, T-Waving this thing is never a wrong play. He goes for Bullet Punch. Does a bit too less to be banded, but it does a bit too much to be defensive. So it can definitely be an offensive Scizor. I can definitely see a Ferrothorn switch coming in, but again, he made some questionable plays. So I'm just gonna fire off the Thunderbolt and see what he does. Can't really predict what he's going to do. Actually brings in a Magnezone. That's strange. Basically gives me free damage on the Magnezone. And I'm just gonna stay in here. And going to click Focus Blast because Thunderbolt is not knocking me out if he's Scarfed. Goes for Flash Cannon instead, predicting me to go into Diggersby, I guess. But anyway, we knock out the Magnezone, which is really nice because I obviously don't want to Sting Volt switching around or clicking Flash Cannon on my Diggersby. On my Diggersby switch, so that's really nice. He brings in the Chandelure. This thing is most likely Scarfed as well if he brings it in like this. If anything, I'll just Thunder Wave this. Then my Bisharp outspeeds it, guaranteed. So he goes for Flamethrower. Okay, knocks out my Thunderous, but Thunderous knocked out the Magnezone, paralyzed the Scizor, and paralyzed the Chandelure. So I put in a lot of work. I can bring in Bisharp and knock off potentially. I could bring in a Azumarill, but he has the Ferrothorn. So it's gonna be annoying. Alakazam doesn't knock him out. I just bring in Bisharp and knock off. Even if he brings in Conkeldurr, I knock off the item. So then he won't have the Flame Orb. Worst case scenario. And again, he might even stay in. Yeah, look, he stays in. So if I was predicting there, then that could have been really bad for me. So we knock out the Chandelure. It's good for us. And instead of bringing in the Conkeldurr, he brings in the Porygon Z. But I'm a Steel type. I can just Sucker Punch this and live. But I think it's safer to bring in the Jirachi. Think. Just to see what he does. Because he must bring it in for a reason. Clicks Hidden Power. That's not fire, that's not ground, so I guess it's Hidden Power fighting since it's neutral on my Jirachi. And he's most likely bringing in the Ferrothorn now, so I'm going to go for the U-turn into Azumarill, then I can click Superpower. As he actually brings in the Conkeldurr, that's really interesting. I get the U-turn damage off, really nice, and I gotta bring in my Azumarill. Could have brought in my Zam, but I want to keep the Focus Sash because he would bring in his Ferrothorn, and I think I'll just click Superpower here. Guys, obviously, Play Rough knocks him out, but Superpower hits the Ferrothorn and hits everything. Worst case scenario, he just knocks me out, but that means he'll stay low and he'll be in. So, okay, does stay in and goes for Facade, but that doesn't mean that he's in Sucker Punch range from my Bisharp, because now I can see Bisharp potentially because it can set up on the Ferrothorn. So I'll just go Bisharp now and I'll just click Sucker Punch just in case he does click the Mach Punch, as he makes the Porygon Z switch now. So guess Stinger is starting to make plays at this point. But I always bring in Jirachi against this. That's adaptability, and I resist the Tri-Attack. But unfortunately he has to crit me, and that crit means that I get 2-hit KO'd now. Because I lived this one, so I only get up rocks. But if he didn't crit me, I would have lived another hit, and then I would have been able to get off a U-turn. But instead I have to let my Jirachi die here, which is unfortunate. The Jirachi goes down. And I'm going to bring in my Diggersby. I think Frustration knocks it out, but then that leaves the Ferrothorn again. So I'll just click Earthquake. Hopefully it knocks him out. And if he brings in the Ferrothorn, it's still gonna do a lot of damage. He actually lives with 2%. Are you kidding me? So he knocks me out, but now Porygon Z is also in range. But instead I'm going to bring in the Alakazam, because I can just Psychic here. And think my Bisharp is going to win from here. I just have to Psychic this as he does stay in, knowing that Bisharp would knock it out otherwise. And he brings in the Scizor. He takes rocks damage and I can just click Hidden Power Fire. That has to be an offensive Scizor just because of the damage he did to my Thundurus. So most likely Iron Plate or something. So if he doesn't click Bullet Punch, I'll just knock it out. Yeah, nice. He probably went for U-turn there. So that is really good. And Alakazam is obviously, the Conkeldurr is obviously gonna die to Psychic. And if he goes Ferrothorn, I'm just gonna counter. Because if he clicks Leech Seed or Spikes, I can just Encore him after. And he cannot recover with Leech Seed because I have the Magic Guard ability. So counter is definitely my player. And that basically covers everything. Does go for the Gyro Ball knowing I have Hidden Power Fire, and I knock him out with counter, and I don't take Iron Barb's damage because I have the Magic Guard ability, so that's really cool. Conkeldurr does come in now, and I can just sack the Alakazam and bring in the Bisharp and Sucker Punch him. So Bisharp gets to do something in the end, gets to clean up this Conkeldurr. Sucker Punch obviously knocks him out, and that is GG. So let's see if we can find another game. This one went pretty quick. It was pretty close in the end, but that's just because he didn't really predict, and I had to make the overall best plays that hits everything. And yeah, he obviously had a lot of damage, and he crit my Jirachi, which meant that I had to lose an extra Pokemon to the Porygon Z. But yeah. Let's see if we can find another game. Okay guys, we got a game against Overtop. Really a booky offensive team on his side. Lead wise, what should we do? He has a Weavile. I think Alakazam is actually pretty good against his team. With Psychic. Azumarill also puts in the work, but let's bring in the Alakazam. Because Psychic puts in a lot of work. Actually leads up with the Weavile. I mean, I can counter it, it's just annoying that I have to bring my Alakazam to 1 HP. I still have to click counter. Hopefully he doesn't click Icicle Crash and flinch me. That would be like the worst turn for me. Since Alakazam is so good against his team. But if I led with Jirachi, then obviously it would have been worse. Does go for the knockoff, and I get the counter off. I don't see Life Orb on this thing, so he was most likely Choice Banded. So we do get rid of the Weavile, which is nice for the team. So that way I don't have to switch into knockoffs. Works out well for me. But he's most likely going to bring in his Conkeldurr. Because he can just Mach Punch me and activate his Flame Orb. I think that's his play. Unless his Guard Jump is Scarfed. But that means he's going to reveal the Choice Scarf. Yeah, he does go into the Conkeldurr. I can predict the Mach Punch and go Thundurus. But if he goes for a random knockoff, that would put me in such a bad position. And I need Thundurus to check the Guard Jump. And it can still T-Wave the Clefable, so I'm just gonna stay in as he does end up going for the Mach Punch. And he activates the Flame Orb. I'm going directly into Azumarill. This is Adamant Max Speed Azumarill, so I'm gonna click Play Rough. It should outspeed Max Speed Adamant Conkeldurr. And if he goes Amoonguss, I still get damage off, as he actually decides to stay in, so that is really nice. I don't have to switch into this Conkeldurr. I don't know why people don't people understand that Azumarill is actually faster than Conkeldurr. He brings in a guard jump, which is really strange because I knock out this guard jump even if he's defensive, and I don't die to Earthquake. So I'm just clicking player off as he clicks Earthquake. That does a lot though, so that is, and I miss. But that thing is definitely choice banded. But that miss is so unfortunate. I'm bringing in the Thunderous here. He is choice banded, so he has to click Earthquake again. And I mean, he has to be choice banded. I'll just click Hidden Power Rise there as he brings in the Amoonguss. Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely specially defensive Amoonguss. Going into Jirachi, because I can still use the Diggersby. Bisharp can obviously do a lot as well. Goes for Spore. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I cannot allow Garchomp to come back in, so I have to bring in my Thunderous again. And I'm going to bring in the Azumarill here, just in case he goes for the Dragon type attack. And if he doesn't click Earthquake, I can bring in my Bisharp. No, he actually brings in the Amoonguss. Let's place it safe. It's actually gonna be rough to break through this. Let's burn a Sleep Turn with Jirachi, I think, because Azumarill doesn't do anything against this in this situation. So I'll go Jirachi. He goes for the Giga Drain. Could definitely see Garchomp coming back in, and this is why missing the play rough on the Garchomp earlier was annoying. Let's burn one Sleep Turn. This is a guaranteed turn of sleep. Does go into Garchomp, and I'm just gonna sack the Azumarill. That's one sleep turn burnt. So we sack the Azumarill. Goes for Stone Edge, and since he's banded, I can bring in my Bisharp now and go for the Sword Stance, because then I knock out the Clefable and I knock out the Amoonguss with knockoff, and I'm pretty sure I live a Heat Wave from the Zapdos. So he does bring in the Zapdos now, get off my Sword Stance, and I'm just going to click knockoff. I actually turn out to be faster, so that is really nice. So I don't take any damage at all on Bisharp, which is great. Wouldn't have mattered because I don't knock out the Garchomp anyway. So he does bring in the Chomp here, and I can just Sucker Punch this, and then he'll be in range of Diggersby, and my Diggersby is Choice Scarfed, so 96 is a lot. If I was Life Orb, he would have died, but I'm Black Glasses, guys. So my Bisharp goes down, and I can bring in my Diggersby, and I'll just click Frustration. As he brings in the Amoonguss. And it does a lot. And that does a lot, guys. Diggersby though. Diggersby though. But yeah, I click Frustration again. As he stays in with Amoonguss, so we get rid of the Amoonguss. Yeah, Bisharp really opened up the game for us there. Weakening the Garchomp and killing the Zapdos. But now Garchomp comes in. He probably thinks I'm banded. So in that sense, I can just Frustration again and knock him out and show him that I'm Choice Scarfed. So Garchomp goes down, and he has his Clefable left. I can click Frustration, but I can also just go into Thunderous and at least paralyze him, and then wake up with Jirachi. Goes for a Wish, and that means he's most likely unaware. I missed the first T-Wave, which is annoying. Gets up a Calm Mind, but I really have to paralyze it. I think that's my best chance of winning. And now I just go hard into Jirachi. And since he's Wish, Calm Mind, I don't think he has Flamethrower, because he most likely has Protect and Moonblast. which means my Jirachi should be able to take this on, because the special attack drops on Jirachi mean nothing. I just have to wake up. He gets paralyzed, and I might wake up on this turn. No, I get the maximum amount of turns of sleep. But yeah, it only does 25% to me since I'm especially defensive Jirachi, and now I get to flinch this down. Para flinch, let's go. That's the first one. Can we get another one? Just some Jirachi things. And this is why the T-Wave on the Thundurus is really nice, because flinching and paralyzing together is really annoying. So we knock out the Clefable, and this is how we win the game. Would have been much easier if we just hit the player off on a guard jump, but what can you do about it, guys? I hope you guys did enjoy this battle, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button as always, subscribe to the channel to see more PvP content, and definitely check out my Discord server, guys, link in the description. That's basically it. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next video.